I have a friend who's a fellow medical doctor who had a private plane he was flying near Blanca Pica back, I think, in the 70s. And there was a massive ET spacecraft that was about 300 feet in diameter that materialized in broad daylight right by the peak and came out by his plane. And his plane had all these electromagnetic anomalies on his gyroscope and compass and everything, just like we were talking about. We often will have these very profound electromagnetic anomalies and effects on our equipment when we're having contact. And then the craft, after it had made contact with him, he saw it go over towards Blanca Peak, and instead of, he thought it was going to crash, just like we thought that big ship that we saw in Joshua Tree was going to crash. He thought it was going to actually hit the side of the mountain and crash, but instead, even with the sun shining on the metallic skin of the craft, and it was huge. I mean, it was the size of a football field in diameter. It just went blip straight into the mountain, up in the area where we go and have our contact site. And it's interesting because I've heard this from many pilots and military people who are in the Disclosure Project. They often don't talk about it because they're afraid that they'll be ridiculed if they tell what really happened. Because the way that the ET technologies work is so far beyond anything Steven Spielberg has in the movies and stuff. And interestingly, this is the real ET craft are like this. And so when this doctor, this physician friend of mine told me this story, I said, well, yeah, because you have to understand the ET technologies are such that they can change the actual spin of each subatomic particle in their spacecraft so that they can either completely dematerialize or appear to be materialized but be a little bit out of tilt with the linear space-time matter of Earth so that they can go straight through solid objects. Because a lot of people don't realize that if you look at your body and how big your body is, say I'm 6'4" and weigh 225 pounds, all of my mass, if I were to make it into one solid ball of solid matter, and just all the protons and neutrons, that would fit on the tip of a pen. That's how much it would actually occupy. The rest of it is this space matrix of energy. And so solid matter, we say solid matter, even the densest solid matter that we have on Earth, is mostly, quote, empty space. But what is empty space? Empty space actually has within it this matrix of zero-point energy, of subtle energies, of astral energies, of consciousness, everything else. And so solid matter can be affected electronically to go through other solid matter by having the one slightly out of spin with the other, and there won't be a single atom touch each other. And that's what he saw, and we've seen this. We've seen this as, of course, we just told you the story about what happened at this amazing experience at Joshua Tree, where we're going for our Palm Springs and Joshua Tree training in November, which everyone's invited to. It's a very exciting event. We had this craft that came and went straight into the Earth, and we thought, of course, there was going to be this massive explosion because it was so brilliant it lit up the entire desert floor in the middle of the national park. But instead, it just merged into the Earth.
Didn't even make a sound.
It actually showed us the contact site that we were to use because it showed us where they went in and out of the Earth in that area of Joshua Tree National Park. So that's where we go every year now. And it's really an amazing thing. So when you've entertained these ideas, you kind of have to step out of 20th and early 21st century understanding of physics into a physics that is known in the classified world. It's certainly known at Lockheed Skunk Works and places like that. But it's not taught at MIT or Yale or Harvard or Caltech or anywhere else. So I think that what's important is that part of it is also a scientific educational program to understand what the potential is, and therefore all the unusual ways that extraterrestrials can interface with our environment, with ourselves, with our awareness that aren't in our worldview, that are totally paradigm busting, because we're dealing with civilizations that are able to travel at multiples of the speed of light, who are able to have thought interface with the machine so that the machine does what the thinking is telling it to do.